AITA for leaving a note on my neighbor's doorstep about his screaming children? I am not the original poster. That is UPBD 1996. She posted in R, Am I the Asshole? She specified her gender in other posts. Mood spoiler. Seems okay. Less than. Original post. June 20th, 2023. I have lived in the same apartment building for about 5 years. Throughout my time here, I've had many neighbors come and go, and I have never had any noise issues. However, last year, a new neighbor moved in 3 units down. He's about 40 and has 3 children under the age of 4. For months, I have listened to his children scream, cry all day long, whether it be in his apartment or in the hallway. At first, I tried to ignore the behavior as I felt bad. It appeared he was a newly single father and was struggling. However, as time went on, it became clear that he just straight up lets his kids behave however they want. For example, when they shriek at the top of their lungs in the hallway, right outside my door, he never says, "Shush, let's be quiet," or anything at all. He just lets it happen without a peep. Additionally, I have come to realize the frequency and the volume of the screaming, crying, shrieking is way beyond what is normal. I'd venture to say I hear anywhere from 10-15 full-on tantrums every single day, all of which are ear-piercingly loud. And like I said, he does not say or do anything about these tantrums. It's now at the point where I find myself frustrated and annoyed in my own home all the time. Right now, I'm working on a paper in my apartment and I can't even concentrate because all I can hear are his children. Because of this, I wrote a note, a polite note, and left it on his doorstep. Essentially, my note said that I sympathized with him, but the noise is out of control. I also stressed that I wanted to confront him directly first. I realize that sounds hypocritical since I left an anonymous note, rather than going straight to management. AITA for leaving this note? Should I have handled it differently? Relevant comments. YTA. What do you think he's going to do with 3 children under 4? Spend the day elsewhere? Buy earplugs. IDK maybe tell his child to be quiet when she's shrieking in the hallway at the top of her lungs. For no reason? And apologize to all the neighbors who opened their doors to see what the commotion was about. Quote, you assume he hasn't tried to quiet his kids and is also unaware of their screaming, considering he wears headphones all day while he games. No, I don't think he has the pleasure of hearing them scream all day like the rest of us do. How TF do you know? Because he told my husband that he's an avid gamer and games pretty much all day long. He's also a tech geek and retired. He sold some sort of major software. YTA, what do you think your note will accomplish? Tantrums are normal. According to professionals, it is actually not normal for children to have that many tantrums in a 24-hour time span. A child's behavior has a direct relationship with their environment and how they are parented. It's not something that's 100% dependent on their natural temperament. OOP is voted NTA, but the mods removed the post fairly quickly, so it is difficult to say if that judgment would have stayed the same. Update post. June 28, 2023. 8 days later, after reading the comments on my original post, I decided to remove the note before my neighbor saw it. I took what some of you said into consideration. Perhaps I just needed to be more patient. I decided if the noise issue escalated, then I'd do something. Otherwise, I would just suck it up and use headphones like some of you advised. Well, today, his children screamed, shrieked 4 times within a 1-hour period in the hallway. This was right by my door about 2 feet away from my apartment. The 4th time it happened, I opened my door and said, please don't scream in the hallway, guys. Quote. Once I said this, he told me that his kids are allowed to scream in the hallway. or anywhere else in the building that they feel like. I told him that actually, no, they're not, according to our lease. He then told me to suck it up and to contact management and to not talk to him. After our conversation, he told all 3 of his kids, "You can be as loud as you want in here," and then shot me a nasty look, and proceeded to walk to the stairs. Once he said that, all 3 kids started squealing as loud as possible. On purpose. I sent management an email and they are talking to him first thing in the morning. I know some of you suggested I do this in the first place. I wish I did. Update 2.0. Same day. Same post. I just went down to the management office to follow up with the manager. She said she had a meeting set for today at 1 p.m. with the resident. She immediately contacted him when I emailed her last night, but then today, he emailed her saying he could no longer make the 1 p.m. meeting and asked why he had to come down. He's in his apartment right now doing nothing. He doesn't work. She told him he is in violation of his lease and it's best if he comes down. Apparently, he didn't reply to her. She told me that if he doesn't come down to meet with her, she is going to draft an official lease violation letter and begin the process of eviction. I was blown away. She's a great manager. She told me that his reaction, telling me his kids are allowed to yell and telling the kids to keep yelling, is the reason for how she's handling this, not purely the noise complaint. She said she's horrified and disgusted that somebody would handle the situation this way. Her and I both agreed that it was strange he would encourage me to not speak to him, and to contact management, rather than just simply telling his kids, "Shish," and appreciating I said something to him directly. Update 3.0. Same post. June 29, 2023. Next day, after I talked with management, I saw my neighbor bring his children to their mother's house. He's been in his apartment, alone, for the last few days and hasn't come out. He has all the blinds drawn. He posted the following status on social media: "I am the perfect success in all areas of life." My husband follows him, which is how I know this. I think he's pretending he's not home to avoid both myself and management. IDK what to make of it, and I don't plan on getting involved. Relevant comments. My personal theory is that, up until this year, he's never had to take care of his kids. A nanny has. So, parenting is really new to him and he has no clue as to what's normal and what's not. I think he likes making his kids happy, so he just never says no or stop. I don't think he has a clue what he's doing. A few weeks ago, he was at the pool with the kids and they were all shrieking and he seemed so oblivious that it was a problem. It wasn't until he saw other parents saying, "Stop yelling," to their own kids, that it seemed to click in his head, and they abruptly left the pool. IDK why he couldn't translate that experience into, "Maybe my kids shouldn't yell in the hallways." Lol. More about neighbor. My neighbor in general is friendly-ish, but really awkward. He's not a talkative guy and avoids social interaction. For example, if somebody takes the elevator, he starts walking in the other direction toward the stairs. However, sometimes he's stuck socializing when he clearly doesn't want to. Since we live in an apartment building, my husband is extremely outgoing, social. Me, not so much. So he's been able to have quite a few conversations with him over the past year. I only had an actual conversation with him once. I never assumed he would react the way he did. If anything, he seemed like the type who would be meek and embarrassed when confronted. So I was super surprised by his reaction. So was my husband. In addition to his post about being perfect, he made another post saying, "Overthinking is a disease." I honestly think the guy is just really socially inept. One last note from Oop. This was 4 days ago, but emo was more of a comment on the situation and not an update, so I'm including it here. I'm assuming management got in contact with him, either in person, over email, or via a paper notice, and notified him that he violated his lease and he needs to fix the issue or else he will be evicted. And I'm assuming he said okay. But I don't know for sure. I haven't heard his kids scream in the hallway since the incident, which is relieving. However, the other day, we were both in the hallway at the same time. He had taken the stairs and I had taken the elevator, and made direct eye contact. It was so awkward. Neither of us said anything, just unlocked our apartment doors in silence. Although, when he opened his door, his kids were screaming at the top of their lungs inside. I just laughed to myself and went inside. He can deal with the screaming in his apartment all he wants. I'm just happy I don't have to hear it in my hallway anymore. Hopefully. You can be as loud as you want in here. Quote, what a bizarre reaction. How on earth did he think that would end well? It doesn't sound like he was at all engaged with his children either. Which isn't great. Edited to add. This is the first Reddit story I have ever read where the housing management were helpful. They are at best apathetic. And usually major assholes. Good for her. His poor kids sound like they are not learning any useful social skills. To put it mildly, I foresee a difficult life ahead for them. What the hell with people saying to get over it? Children scream. Of course they do, but not the entire freaking day. As a parent, I would be absolutely mortified if my children made life unpleasant for everyone they were around. Someone needs to break that guy's gaming headphones so he can enjoy the screaming. 2. Ugh. Wait, if the kids are screaming inside his apartment and he is in the hallway unlocking the door, who is watching them? When you have kids in an apartment, you got to keep them from screaming all the time. As someone with kids living in an apartment, when kids scream and cry all the time, it means they are being neglected. Gotta love AITA making the op feel like they did something wrong when this father encourages his kids to act like demons. I'll never understand why some people think that anyone should have to wear earplugs constantly, where they are paying to live. Absolutely not. I love when Reddit is like, but kids be kids, when clearly these people would not be posting when it's just normal kid behavior. If you're posting asking for advice on the situation, it's clear the kids are not being supervised well enough and there's an issue. I don't understand why op is considered the AH. Just because they are kids doesn't mean they should keep making noises the entire day. I am the perfect success in all areas of life. I am thinking the exact opposite. Would be funny to enlist all the neighbors and them open your doors and scream anytime his kids scream in the hallway. JFC, everyone who voted she was the TA. WTF, how? YTA, what do you think he's going to do with 3 children under 4? Spend the day elsewhere? Buy earplugs. Entitled parent detected. AITA is one of the worst subs. Lol, gotta treat the place like a zoo. Wild that the first post was heavy when YTA. Seems reasonable to leave a note about the noise instead of escalation. Just move to a house if you don't want to parent your kids. Stop subjecting other people to them. FFS. Putting aside the fact that it's bad neighbor etiquette and bad parenting to let your kids scream all day long, it seems bad just from like a health perspective. Like, that's gonna damage the kids' throats or ears eventually. Although, when he opened his door, his kids were screaming at the top of their lungs inside. Who was with these 3 kids in the apartment while he was out? They're all under 4 years old. I wouldn't leave 3 kids that age alone in an apartment for 10 minutes. Oh, I remember this one and was so baffled by people telling Op to just deal with it. No. It is not totally normal for 3 small kids to be constantly screaming in a hallway. My parents certainly didn't tolerate it from me. It's one thing if it was a one-off meltdown happening as the dad was trying to get everyone into the apartment, but this was constant.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AITA is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.